Obsidian's been working on Avowed for years, and they really wanted this to be the next major RPG that everyone was going to be playing for a very long time, but it doesn't really look like it's stuck with audiences so far, given its release weekend failed to top 20k players on Steam. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, the tale with Avowed has not been a very positive one because a lot of people who are playing it are quite underwhelmed, and then there are tons of people who refuse to play it because of comments made by members of the team, like Matt Hansen wanting to kick crusty white dudes out of the industry, and then months ago telling people, oh, if you're upset by pronoun options, you're going to be really angry with the rest of the game, and it just came across as very petty, like he wasn't really passionate about the project, and that he did not care if this game succeeded or failed, and so why would we show up to support him if he doesn't actually want our purchases? And now it is not looking really good. So of course it is important to point out right off the bat that this game is on Game Pass. It was a day one Game Pass release, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people playing it that way because they didn't want to swipe their credit card for a $70 game if they can just play it through a subscription they already pay for. But we know that Game Pass day one launches can still be extremely successful on platforms like Steam. I'm just going to use Starfield as an example. Games on Game Pass do worse on Steam. Of course, Avowed's numbers on Steam are going to be bad. Tell that to Starfield, which was also a day one Game Pass launch and had 330,000 players on Steam. Pretty insane numbers at release. And yeah, like Starfield was a pretty massive game, but so was Avowed. I mean, Microsoft had billboards for Avowed to try to promote it. There were tons of advertisements running on YouTube and X and Twitch. So it's not like they did not have a hefty marketing budget for this game. And it's not like there was no talk. I mean, there was a ton of discussion leading up to launch, and a lot of companies go by the mentality of any press is good press, even if it is negative press. So if that mentality was actually true and was a successful strategy, you'd think that this game also would have done better because so many people were talking about it leading up to launch. But while a Starfield can launch to 330,000 people on Steam, never mind what Game Pass numbers were, Avowed really flopped. And yes, most recently, we did have something like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle come out, and that also did pretty bad on Steam, and they claimed it did okay through Game Pass. They said, I believe, about 4 million people have played the game, which is good, but you also have to consider that is over 2.5 months, and Game Pass is not good for developers. I think it's good for customers because it means you can test out a game before swiping your credit card, but we basically know that after a game is put on Game Pass, that makes them no money. So they do still need individual sales on platforms like Steam. And well, Avowed launched to less than 20k people. Super bad, especially for a studio with the prestige of Obsidian. I know that over the years, people have kind of fallen out of love with Obsidian. Which is very, very unfortunate. It's like BioWare, right? If this was a decade ago, I would be swiping my credit card instantly for anything BioWare had made. But, they came out with something like Anthem, and then they came up with the Veilguard, and now nobody trusts them. And with Obsidian, the attitude behind this game and the current state of the industry really did damage this title. I'm sure that you all know about Matt Hansen already. Avowed director Matt Hansen hates you and does not want you to buy his game. And well, a lot of people did not buy this game. They took his suggestion to heart. And he had previously said, with all sincerity, there's no such thing as just a fan. Y'all are the whole reason for making this stuff, and it's why we do everything we can to make the game as inclusive as possible. Pissing off the chuds is just a side benefit, and I have already live streamed a full playthrough of Avowed. I did my review. I did not really find this game to be overtly woke. I did not find it to have a lot of identity politics. I felt like it was just a really mediocre experience experience in general. It was not as preachy as something like Veilguard. It just wasn't really all that good of a game. And so when he goes on these rants and says that he wants to piss off the chuds, and he's saying, oh my god, if pronouns upset you, the rest of the game's going to upset you, he severely damaged the image of this game when really it was not overtly woke. Now, maybe they did end up changing some of the content and removing content, because we do know that right before release they had actually added in the pronoun kind of toggle, so you can have the pronouns pop up if you want, or the pronouns do not have to pop up if you do not want them to. So maybe they did end up cutting some of the content. Either way, though, he did severely damage the image of this game. And when he had said this, we all knew that it was going to be a very rough situation. Sickos.jpg, I wanted so badly to make him, being Elon Musk, mad with my game, and I could not believe it actually happened. Just wait until you see the default. You said, he means sad, little shit. And, well, doesn't seem like many people really saw the default he's referring to, given less than 20k people at release. And of course, this has led to a lot of gamers roasting Obsidian and also roasting Matt Hansen, because he has been silent for weeks now. I think because he was probably told that he has already done irreparable damage. And it just shows how self-centered he is, because when you work for a company like Obsidian and you're representing a product like this, you're not just damaging your image. You're not just damaging your potential bonus. You're damaging everybody that is part of this studio, everybody who worked on this game. And it does not seem like they really put a lot of time and effort into this title, given, of course, it's a really mid experience, but maybe there would not have been so much backlash. So maybe some people would have actually given this a chance, but they stayed away because of these comments. And there's already so many videos online comparing things like Avowed to Oblivion and Avowed to Skyrim, and it's just so sad to see how the state of the industry is, how little love and passion is put into games now. And I know that Mark Dara had put up a video a few days ago basically saying paying $70 does not buy you a chance to be cruel to developers, and oh, you don't know the circumstances of a game's development cycle. And sure, maybe Avowed was scrapped 3 times and they had to restart it from the ground up, but ultimately I'm still buying a product, and therefore, even if you had to restart it 10 times, that is not an excuse to launch a half-baked piece of content. You should still be giving me a full-blown product, and I can still criticize it if I want. And this is a major issue within the industry, is that so many people say, oh, you're harassing developers, when really all we're doing is criticizing them. So things are not going good right now. The game is being compared to titles like Oblivion, and Oblivion, a game that's, 19 years old, is significantly better than Avowed. Even Skyrim is 1,000 times better. And then you have Matt Hansen's comments, which don't look good. You have people trying to cope and defend Avowed, saying, oh, it was on Game Pass day 1, so clearly it's not going to do as good on Steam, when a game like Starfield has proven that wrong. And, well, I just don't see a way that they are going to make any money off of this game, how this game is going to be successful. I just don't see it. And as of right now, past released weekend, it's sitting at an all-time peak of 19,198 players, and I expected it to get to 25 or 30k for opening weekend, and it did not even do that. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.